Spending time apart as one side of a mirror soul is very different to being apart in a normal 2D relationship. It's really normal to wonder, are they thinking about you? And there are a lot of signs that come along with that bond. So we're going to look at some of the signs you might see, some things you can look out for, and how a twin flame normally feels, especially during periods of difficult separation. One of the most common questions I hear, especially from people going through a difficult separation phase, is, does my twin flame miss me? The answer to that is yes, but. So I always say there are no two journeys that are ever entirely the same. So it does really depend on how far down your path you are. But in general, out of the thousands of stories I've heard, I would say your twin flame does miss you, but usually isn't aware of this or isn't able to process that connection. Normally, a twin flame runner isn't yet equipped to handle that kind of connection. They try and frame it in a way that fits into their understanding of a 2D relationship and how that should feel. Now, when two twin flames are apart, even before they ever physically meet, they do miss each other, but that can manifest in a lot of different ways. You might have heard about or even experienced the psychic link between two twin flames. There's a lot of kind of discussion about what it means and what it can and can't do, and I won't get too far into that here. I'll include a link below with my full guide on that connection. But the important thing to know is it doesn't matter what kind of physical distance you're dealing with. You could be on opposite sides of the world and that connection is still there. And it shows itself in a lot of different ways. The most common of which is you share energy and you share emotion. Now, you might have seen this yourself. I've personally spoken to thousands of people going through various stages of a twin flame journey now. And one of the most common things I see is during a period of difficult separation, both sides will experience emotions out of nowhere. You could be sorting your socks, you could be at work, you could be waking up in the morning, and you'll be struck by various degrees of an emotion you wouldn't expect and an emotion that doesn't make sense for that situation. When a twin flame experiences something good, bad, or wakes up in the morning and just wants their coffee, they want to share that with the other side of their soul. Now, the bigger the news, the higher the emotional attachment, the more noticeable this is. But it's one of the most common signs that your twin flame is thinking about you. It can also be one of the hardest to spot. A lot of the times, because we're not really ready to appreciate this kind of connection, we attribute it to something else. Now, while shared emotions is maybe the most noticeable sign that they're thinking about you, it's not the only one. And there are some that are perhaps harder to spot. So there are spikes of energy. If your twin has received some good news or has a reason to feel motivated, that will reflect through that connection, and that can result in you feeling uplifted, excited, energetic. And that's one of the more common ones. Shared dreams is an interesting one, and I think it happens more often than we really know. So the truth is that we all dream, and most of our dreams we don't remember. But twins meet each other in dreams before we even really understand what a twin flame journey is. And in dreams, we have the most unfiltered and unbarriered conversations, which twins already have, but it's much easier to have in a dream than it is in the 2D, especially obviously during a separation phase. If you're dreaming off your twin flame, it's usually a sign that they're reaching out and connecting with you through your dreams. They may or may not remember this. It's more likely during separation that they won't, but it does happen. Number patterns is one of the more talked about ones. You likely have heard about this before. Repeating numbers like 1111 or number sequences like 1234. I won't get too far into this. I'll include a link below to the full guide on number sequences because there's quite a lot there and it really depends on the patterns that you're seeing, the meaning behind it. But if you're seeing these patterns and sequences, it is a fairly solid sign that your twin flame is thinking about you. A comfortable silence is an interesting one. Now, many separation phases involve periods of silence. Either you're not speaking to them, they're not replying to you, or just silence overall, nobody's speaking to each other. But there's a difference in a silence and a comfortable silence. Now, some parts of the separation phase are painful, and sadly, that's just part of the journey. But if you're experiencing a comfortable silence, that feeling of comfort is coming from your twin. And it's a sign they are thinking about you, they are worried about you, and it's their way of reaching out and trying to comfort you during this separation. And lastly, this one is perhaps one of the least common ones, but I have heard about it happening. Sudden new interests. Now, obviously, this could be different things, but part of the twin flame journey is pushing each other to grow and experience new things, and twins do want to share new things with each other. If your twin has an interest, a hobby, a passion for something, they're going to want to share that with you. And suddenly feeling like you have a passion for whatever it is, it might be collecting stamps, it might be base jumping off the Empire State Building, whatever their passion is, feeling that sudden interest or the urge to try it yourself is a sign your twin is thinking about you and wants to share this excitement with you. Now, I always say again, there's no two twin flame journeys that are ever exactly the same. So there's no full list I can give you. Really learning to spot when your twin flame is thinking about you is paying attention. That's really what it is. The likelihood is your twin is thinking about you on some level, whether they're consciously aware of it or not. If it's a true twin flame journey you're on, that psychic link is there. That bond between both parts of the same soul is always there.